Hello, today I'm going to talk about internet. The internet is a globally connected network system that uses TCP/IP to transmit data through various types of media. The internet is a network of global exchanges including private, public, business, academic and government networks connected by guided wireless and fiber optic technologies. This means internet is connected through various network systems that which uses TCP IP models to transmit various informations. The internet can be of public or private, and it uses fiber optic technologies very recently. The term Internet and World Wide Web are often used interchangeably, but they are not exactly the same thing. The Internet refers to the global communication system, including hardware and infrastructure, while the web is one of the services communicated over the Internet. This is nothing but Internet is a superset and World Wide Web is a subset of it. Now, moving on to the basics. Internet is the largest computer network in the world which connects millions of computers. Now, a network is a group of two or more computer systems linked together. We can divide computer networks mainly into two: local area network and wide area network. Local area network. A LAN is a two or more connected computers sharing certain resources in a relatively small geographic locations, often in the same building. Examples include home networks and office networks. And from the diagram, it is visible that most of the other systems are being shared from a single resource. And the most common examples are that you can find in offices. Wide area network. A WAN typically consists of two or more LANs. The computers are far apart and are linked by telephone lines, dedicated telephone lines, or radio waves. The internet is the largest, widest wide area network in existence. Again, it is nothing but a broader version of LAN, where WAN is a connection of two or more LANs. And the systems are interlinked by wires like telephone lines or dedicated telephone lines or radio waves. Addresses and names of the Internet. IANA, Internet Assigned Number Authority, is broadly responsible for the allocation of globally unique names and numbers that are used in Internet protocols. An IP address, Internet Protocol, is a numerical label assigned to each device connected to a computer network that uses Internet Protocol for communication. IPv4 defines an IP address as a 32-bit number. However, because of the growth of the internet and the depletion of available IPv4 address, a newer version of IPv6 using 128 bits for the IP address was standardized in 1998. We commonly use IPv6 where it has 128 bits. Web objects is a powerful technology for building complex web applications which leverage an organization's existing investments in databases. Web objects makes it easy to develop and deploy enterprise level web services and Java server applications while giving the agility to respond quickly to change. Typically, web objects deployments are by organizations who have technology leaders and management teams who are not concerned with what the site will be like today or in next month, but what it will become in the next years. iTunes is the best example for web objects, where it is built with objects as are many other monster websites. Electronic mail, commonly called email or email, is a method of exchanging digital messages from an author to one or more recipients. Model, Modern email operates across the internet or other computer networks. Some early email systems required that the author and the recipient both be online at the same time, in common with instant messaging. Today's email systems are based on store and forward model. Email servers accept, forward, and deliver and store messages. Neither the user nor the computers are required to be online simultaneously. They need to connect only briefly, typically to an email server, for long as it takes to send or receive messages. This means that there is no requirement of both the author and the receiver to be online. Today's email system follows store and forward model. Now, this is the diagram that represents the flow of email from the author and the recipient. There will be two servers, that is sending server and the receiving server, and in between they use a simple mail transfer protocol for sending the messages. And the only requirement for a receiver to receive the message or author to send messages, they must be connected to the internet. WWW, World Wide Web. It is a system of interlinked hypertext documents accessed through the internet. It is a network of images, texts, and sounds on the internet which can be viewed through the browser software. Now, moving on to its history. In 1989, Tim Berners is the one who proposed WWW, and by 1990, the world's first web server was developed. In 1990 itself, www, the first web browser, was created. In 1993, www was announced as free and open to all. WWW components can be divided into two: structural components and semantic components. Under structural components, there comes clients or browsers, servers, caches, and internet. And under semantic components, we have HTTP, HTML, and URL. The client or the browser used to dominant for dominant implementations. Servers can run on sophisticated hardware. Caches can it's mainly interested in implementation, and internet is used for the global infrastructure that which facilitates the data transfer. Now, semantic components like HTTP, which is a hypertext transfer protocol, HTML, which means hypertext markup language, and URL, uniform resource identifiers, are used. File transfer. It is the simplest and most secure way to exchange files over the internet. Transferring files from client computer to a server computer is called uploading, and transferring from a server to a client is called downloading. Now, to access an FTP, that is file transfer protocol servers, user must be able to connect to the internet or an intranet with the FTP client program. FTP is a file transfer protocol in the internet's TCP/IP protocol suite's application layer. The FTP protocol can also perform other actions such as creating and deleting directories, listing files, deleting and renaming the files. File transfer. Their examples include downloading MP3, online games that heavily rely on FTP. Then it is commonly used to transfer web page files from the creator to the computer that acts as a server for everyone on the internet. Telnet. The main task of the internet is to provide service to the users. For example, users want to run different application programs at the remote site and transfer as a result to the local site. This requires a client server program such as FTP or SMTP, but this would not allow us to create a specific program for each demand. The better solution is to provide a general client server program that lets the user access any application program on a remote computer. Therefore, a program that allows a user to log on to a remote computer is used. A popular client server program, Telnet, is used to meet such demands. Telnet is an abbreviation for Terminal Network. Telnet protocol is used for remote logging. Telnet client uses an ephemeral port number while servers use port number like 23 of TCP. Every major computer operating system, including Unix, Linux, Mac, OS, and Windows, has Telnet built into them. The configuration file for Telnet is \etc slash xinetd slash telnet. To enable Telnet server, you need to open this file and make sure disable is equal to not read as disabled, which is equal to yes. Windows uses log off. It closes a session on server as well as client. In case the command doesn't work, use abort. Each telnet command console sessions consist of two processes, tintSes.exe and cmd.exe. Tint tintSes.exe is responsible for managing the telnet session. cmd.exe is a command interpreter or shell program that runs commands, programs, or scripts on the host. Usenet. Usenet stands for Users Network. It is a worldwide distributed internet discussion system. Derived from a very early Unix networking technology, it consists of set of publicly accessible so-called news groups, each of which deals with a specific topic. The format and transmission of Usenet articles is similar to that of internet email messages. Gopher is a TCP IP application layer protocol designed for distributing, searching, and retrieving documents over the internet. It presented an alternative to the World Wide Web in its early stages. Now, just as the real gopher successfully navigates beneath the prairie, the internet gopher tunnels through the invisible parts of internet to help you find the information which you want. The name refers to someone who fetches thing or provides service for other people, just like a gopher. Unlike the World Wide Web, there is no hypertext, it is just links. Now, gopher searches are of two types. That is, one is Veronica and the second one is Jughead. These are the two types of search engines that are available in Gopher. This is how Gopher works, where most of the systems are connected to the internet and you have a Gopher client and server. We need telnet and everything else for the connection to work. Waze Wide Area Information Server is an internet search tool that has the capability of searching many databases at one time. The databases to be searched can be determined by the user. When the Waze completes a search, it is actually searching an index of database. A Waze database index is created by a person. Waze retrieves all items from the chosen database that contain any of words in the search phrase, provided that the words in the search phrase appear in the indexes of the selected database. A relevancy ranking is assigned to each retrieved item to help the user determine which item may be the most useful. Waze can be accessed through the Telnet, Gopher, or Waze client program, and increasingly, Waze index databases are accessible through the World Wide Web. As there is relevancy ranking, it becomes the most efficient so that it helps the user to determine that which items may be useful for them. Veronica. Veronica was a search engine system for the Gopher protocol released in November 1992 by Stephen Foster and Fred Barry at the University of Nevada, Reno. During its existence, Veronica was constantly an updated database of names of almost every menu item on the thousands of Gopher servers. The Veronica database could be searched from most Gopher menus, although the original Veronica database is no longer accessible. Various local Veronica installations and at least one complete rewrite Veronica 2 is still existing. Internet chat. Internet chat may refer to any kind of communication over the internet that offers a real time transmission of text messages from sender to receiver. Internet chat may address point to point communication as well as multicast communications from one sender to many receivers, and voice and video chat, or maybe a feature of web conferencing service. Online chat, in a less stringent definition, may be primarily Any text-based or video-based one-to-one or one-to-many group chat, which is formerly known as synchronous conferencing, using tools such as instant messengers, IRC, that is Internet Relay Chat, and multi-user dungeon. Web server. A web server is a program that uses HTTP to serve files that create web pages to users in response to the request which is sent by the computer's HTTP connection. A web server is a part of multi-tier application which is also known as entire application. Functionality can be divided into several tiers or groupings. Tiers can be on the same computer or on different computers. Now, web applications are often three tiered and they are information tier, middle tier, and client tier. Proxy server. A proxy server is a server that acts as an intermediary for requests from client seeking resources from other. Now, proxy servers has mainly two purposes, that is to keep machines behind it anonymous, which provides more security, and to speed up access to a resource using cache. Type of proxy servers are caching proxy server, web proxy server, content filtering web proxy, and anonymizing proxy server. The mechanism of proxy server is to accept the request from client, and it generates response based on two conditions, that is, if the document exists in the local cache, then the proxy server itself provides a required retrieval to the client. If not, then the request has been forwarded to the original server. Now the proxy server transfers the replies to the client. The proxy server thus acts as both client and server.